Yes, so Russia supported the al-Assad regime. It intervened in 2015 when Bashar al-Assad was saying he's given up the north of the country but he doesn't have the forces really to defend the whole country. So Russia intervened. It provided air support to the Syrian forces who were defending Aleppo and Hama, but eventually these fell very, very quickly to rebel forces. So after a decade of supporting al-Assad regime, Russia was, it became heavily committed to the war it was doing in Ukraine. And we've got to keep in mind the Ukraine war will always be a million times more important than Syria was ever going to be. Syria for Russia was a small to medium operation. It was easy because they mainly provided air support, so their air assets were never under attack. The reason why Syria became important for Russia was there are two bases they have on the coastal areas. This is the route they use to go to Africa. If you look at Wagner and if you look at Russia, it's in Mali, it's in all of these areas. The route through Syria was how they did it. However, when the Ukraine war started, they got busy with Ukraine. I mean, we're coming up to 4 years next year in the Ukraine war. But despite all of this support that they gave to the regime, the Syrian army in the end was unable to mount an effective counteroffensive. So despite Russian air power, regime forces on the ground, they capitulated when Ahmad al-Shara and his forces went down to Damascus. So Moscow concluded that even before Damascus fell, that preserving its military assets was more important than getting into a prolonged battle with the advancing rebels. So Russia, it relocated its forces to Libya. After a decade of defending the al-Assad regime, Russia determined that preserving and protecting its military assets, that was more important than defending the al-Assad regime. So Russia lost despite everything it did. However, in October, Ahmad al-Shara, he visited Moscow and he said he wants to maintain relations with Russia and he wants to preserve whatever relationship existed from before. So this means that the two bases Russia has in Syria, Ahmad al-Shara is happy for Russia to continue having these. So Russia, it really reduced its presence in these two bases, but the bases they still were using. So it seems what Ahmad al-Shara is trying to do is he wants to keep Russia in Syria as a counterweight to what Israel is doing. So that's why despite Moscow supporting Bashar al-Assad, despite all the massacres they carried out, Ahmad al-Shara now wants to keep him there in order to be a counterweight to Israel.